Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Challenge 41 Wrap Up podcast for episode 7. I am Brian Cohen. Me, as always, my co-host, Ali Lasher. Ali, how are you?
Can I start off by derailing the podcast immediately?
Can you derail something that hasn't started, or is getting back on track the true derailment then?
Challenge
For that.
accepted. When you are in your like studio background where it's like
Right.
there's like trinkets behind you versus
Yeah.
when you are in your red room, not to be
Yep.
confused with like a red room a la 50 Shades,
Yep.
more like maroon. Can you
Mhm.
orient us in Casa de Cohen?
Sure. So in our house, in our bedroom, we have a loft like above our bedroom that goes to like our attic. We didn't know what to do with it, so I was like, "Oh, that's a good place to podcast. I'll do it from there." So that's where I have all my trinkets. It's in that loft up there. The red room here, this is Emily's office. Now, the problem with doing it in the loft is not today, but sometimes we record late. Emily wants to go to sleep.
Not today.
Yeah, not today. But sometimes it could be later. And she's like, get the hell out of here. I'm going to sleep. So that's when I go to the office. And now, today, she's not home right now, but she will be home soon. And I imagine she probably wants to go down and lay and go to sleep. So I don't want to be in the crossfire of that. So I've shifted here.
Okay.
So if you want to get a sense of the time of our recording for the people listening, where I am plays a big factor in that.
Because with the gamer headset and sort of like the maroon room, it's giving like I'm playing Halo with 13-year-olds.
Sure. Yeah. No, and that's, I bought this during COVID when we had nothing to do and I got back into video games for the first time in a decade. And this is what I was using. And I still like it. It's great. I was saying before, you got the mic, you got the AirPods, different things get disconnected. This thing is just one plug. I don't have to worry about anything getting like screwed up. If one thing gets screwed up, the whole thing gets screwed up. So we'll all know together. So,
all right, your headset's not on trial here. I'm
defending it though. I'm defending it.
I have nothing behind me, so whatever.
I mean, that's admittedly, I don't have anything behind me either. Just a different color.
Yeah. All right. One thing also that made me nervous, in addition to the red when you're in the maroon room,
Mm-hmm.
the name of this episode being At Least Someone's Getting Laid.
Mm-hmm.
The episode a few weeks ago that was titled "We Used to Hook Up," where I was like had intrigue. It was Kombucha Girl. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I got nervous again when I saw this intriguing title. Luckily, it was. Well, I don't know what people's takes are going to be about the subject of this episode title, but I guess it wasn't as bad as Will's last foray into romance.
For now, I mean, we might see it might take a turn. Maybe Casey just gets dropped back into the season, or who knows? Maybe Nani catches the eye of someone else, and Will starts punching things again. I don't know. We can't say for certain. It's only been 1 week, so who knows with Will? I mean, look, Will got super jealous over a hotel makeout. Here we're doing a lot more, so who's to say what might happen?
Who is to say? I'm about to start swaying, start throwing punches like Will. About once again, for a change, about this week on, presented by TJ at the top of the episode. Because not only did it spoil who's in power, who's going to be at risk, that it was confirmed going to be a girls' day, it also told us we're going to find out what the points mean. But yet again, we get a very confusing my favorite things drop from TJ. Last week, his favorite thing, heights above water. This week, his favorite thing is a first ever Challenge Grand Prix.
This one I can almost defend a little bit more because I think the one from last week, I think he said like my favorite thing on the challenge was like this. This is like his favorite thing. And obviously TJ, BMX guy, loves anything to do with wheels and speed. So I could understand him gravitating to this as like his overall favorite thing. The heights above water being his favorite thing on the challenge was kind of weird. But I could see this tracking. I could see TJ doing this on the reg for fun. So I could understand this being his favorite thing.
That's very generous. This was a jump cut. This was a Frankenbite. Like his tone completely made no sense. This is like cut my favorite thing from the heights above water or trivia or whenever he said it and insert here. Very bizarre to me.
It was. I agree with you though. Like the this coming up on, I need to start skipping. It's getting bad. Like they're basically saying like coming up on, look out for these two in elimination. Like we're getting that to the point. So I think I have to start doing the 10-second ahead thing on watching these episodes. I can't. It's just ruining it for me. Look, I understand there's a lot worse things going on in the reality TV space with shows self-sabotaging themselves, but in our little world, this is very bad.
Yeah. I will not be baited into caring about the Big Brother thing. But no, it begs the question, like, is viewer retention like terrible for these episodes where like people are starting the episode and falling off 30 minutes in? Maybe. Like, maybe that's why.
So maybe they should move this there. Like after like the daily, it's like, don't turn away. Coming up, we're gonna have these great elimination with these two people doing all these things. Stay with us.
All right. We're always evolving, always making suggestions.
You know what? Speaking of evolving and suggestions, I don't know why I was thinking about this, but I thought we're derailing again because I don't think there was that much even to talk about this week. So I feel like
okay.
But to derail us,
coming up on this podcast, nothing.
coming up, we will talk about the elimination choices and how we ended up where we will. But quick sidebar. I thought one of the more innovative things we've ever done as a podcast was when we watched the episode and like we would watch the that's not the innovative thing.
It's like it's innovative for an Akiva podcast.
Yeah, it is. We watch the episode, pause it after each commercial break, and then do the podcast about what we just saw, and then go back to the episode, and like we would do the podcast during the episode.
You're saying we should do that, or we've done that?
We've done it before. And I thought it was like very good.
When did we do that?
It was during the time when we were really struggling to find times to record, and we were like, I don't have time to like watch it and record, so can we just watch and record? And we just like smashed it all together. And I thought it was actually a very fun way to do a podcast.
I thought you were fixing to piss me off because I thought you were gonna say your favorite thing was when we did like a solo pod, which Brian's classic used to be like, if he's not available to record, he'll suggest that he just do the podcast alone. And I was like, you cannot write me out of the narrative all the time. So I'm less offended by this. It is crazy that now I vaguely remember that, but I don't know if it's a false memory because you just told me I've done it.
It's a fun time.
We could do it. Whatever.
Maybe we'll do it again. We'll see.
It's not like live. I wish we had the technology to do a live commentary.
Yeah, I mean, we could, I guess, right? I don't know.
I think our best Ben lives.
Yeah, we could do it. I don't know. But all right, we can get back on track. That popped up.
We're having a production meeting. Just quick production meeting. Okay, so it's very interesting to me. I have a lot I feel like I want to discuss this episode. Not so much the result, but I think a lot's getting teed up. So everyone, the vets plus Izzy really welcome Olivia back. And it's interesting to me to see how the vet women react differently to last week's move by Leo. So first of all, shout out to Sydney, who catches absolutely zero flack for the move. This all seems to be very pinned on Leo. To the UK vets, the vets working with Olivia, Derek, etc. Leo seems to be public enemy number one to blame for this move. Meanwhile, very interestingly, Ashley, Michaela, and Aviv are more like setting their sights on Anissa from a trust perspective, and then Olivia from a cardio perspective. I'm not really sure. Like, maybe it's more the conversation they had with Anissa last week where she was like, I'd have to save Olivia over any of you. But I'm not sure, like, other than that, what Anissa really did to put a target on her back. It seems like they were saying, oh, Leo picking Anissa exposes how close Olivia and Anissa are.
Yeah, I think I don't even know if it's necessarily like just last week. I feel like this is now like a growing thing with Anissa. It's just like bubbling to a head of like they want to be able to trust Anissa in their core vet girl alliance, and she's straying outside and doing her own thing. So yeah, I don't think it was necessarily like, oh my god, I can't believe Anissa flipped on us last week. It was like she just cannot, like, when we're counting votes that are like in a close vote situation, we just cannot rely on Anissa being that extra vote that we might need.
And that's fair. And then I was a little bit disappointed this week because I thought we'd like, well, disappointed is not the right word. I was curious to see how Leo would respond to what happened last week. And I guess I shouldn't have been surprised that Leo is completely undeterred and unaffected by how it blew up in his face and pretty much doubles down on his intent to continue.
Yeah, in his mind, this did not blow up in his face. Like, yeah, Lecca went home, and that's really bad for probably his game. But in his mind, it was a grand success because he's now the focal point of the house. And, even some of the other, like, rookie men are like, oh, look at Leo, like, doing big moves, even though they went absolutely horribly. And, like, the lesson should be, oh, maybe we should, like, be smarter about the shots we take. Like even like CT you said later on, like maybe the big move is not the big move, but it's like getting on someone who's not with you. That's the big move. But for Leo, it's just like being the focus of the attention was the grand success, which was the most obvious thing of all time.
Yeah, the brain trust of Leo, Gabe, and Jake really impressed by themselves, impressed by Leo. I almost wish, like, and maybe this is coming because we do see a connection with Leo and Nani in their partnership this week. I like feel like a veteran woman could really harness Leo's power and his willingness to not care if he makes enemies and get blood on his hands, and just redirect him a little bit more strategically. Because I think Justin also and Leo both have the desire to be out in front, to make big moves, to get screen time. And they lack like the ability to execute correctly. So I'm waiting for like an Ashley or a Nani to like kind of try to bridge that gap, circumscribed, and like try to make it work to their advantage.
Yeah, or even, I mean, I almost think the better way to use it to your advantage is just like hold them out front as like a shield and just be like, you do your thing. I'll just like hide behind you and you spray, like just go nuts and just like use it to just take, just to his erraticness. I would just like focus on that. I don't know if there's a way to corral it, because at least for this season, I think he's now just gung ho on I'm making big splashes. So I don't know. It's almost just like avoiding this big splash landing back on you to a degree. But if you can even just harness the shield aspect of it, I think that's almost more the way to go with Leo.
Well, it's going to be interesting, jumping ahead, to see how it plays out, where we find out that at some point these pairs are going to reassemble for the rest of the show. And, whoever's with Leo, right? That's a risk and it's an asset. So we'll kind of see between the advantage of him as a shield in terms of like his allies, but his partner is going to have to try to redirect him. So that, I mean, I hope Leo, and I have every expectation that Leo will make it to that point, and we'll see how that goes. I'm interested. Stay tuned on the challenge to see how Leo works with a long-term partner.
Exactly. Yep. Not this week though. Stay tuned in like the next few weeks. We don't have that answer for you right now.
So before we get to the daily, we get the first like tiptoe into the setup of Nani and Will hooking up. And, there is much more to discuss later on in the episode, but I would be remiss if I did not call out this man, Will, having a confessional who says Izzy is like saying she's best friends with Olivia and like, relax, you just met. Now, like, we watched a whole episode of you punching a wall because of a woman you kissed one time. Like, Will really will embarrass himself in confessionals. He does not care. He is willing to look stupid.
Yeah, and I liked we got D to kind of twist the knife further, being like, he can do whatever he wants. I'm just concerned for Nani. Like, we have Will is erratic. He can start punching walls and just like, he's not a very emotionally stable guy. So, I hope they're happy, but I'm just worried for Nani.
It's not the first time Nani's been drawn to a man with a little bit of a violent streak. It's the first time in a while.
Yeah.
But, whatever. Real World Vegas fans will remember.
My FYP has been pushing for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it was like just released somehow, but the Vegas season, sometimes these clips get put out, and all of a sudden, like people are just like, putting out the clips of the reunion of them together and the whole like Dustin and Heather thing, but then also the Adam and Nani thing, and it's like, ooh, flashbacks. Cool.
I'm trying to think, like, if I were to rewatch a season of the
that would be it.
That has to be up there. Yeah. That's it. Okay. Case closed.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the daily. TJ's favorite, not TJ's challenge.
Drive me crazy. Everyone is in go-karts, paired up, driving around in go-karts. After each lap, each person has to do a puzzle. 4 puzzles total, 2 for each pair. If they fail to complete the puzzle in a certain amount of time, they have to do 5 laps around before they could try again and just keep going and going and going. And they just have to eventually complete it. And whoever finishes it all first wins. Finish it last loses.
Yeah, so a lot of things here. I think overall, the challenge was a success for me. You're nodding your headset. You look like you agree.
I agree. I thought it was a very fun challenge. It was like a little long, but like, there's a lot of teams. There's a lot of things to do. I thought it was a very fun and creatively crafted challenge.
I do too. I loved a number of things about this. I loved that they built in the victory lap so that and the penalties being sort of built in so that it wasn't, we're going to time you on each puzzle and then we'll tell you who did it in the shortest time. Like there was great momentum on watching people finish. An excellent finish, like photo finish shot of Leo and CT coming around the corner and CT like throwing his head back in disgust that he was losing. Like it was really, really fun to watch. I agree it went a little long, but I was excited about it. I thought the puzzles were, short enough to like be okay, the way they edited it so that we weren't watching the same puzzle like over and over again too long. One question in terms of the way I thought the challenge was going to work and then it didn't, but I thought maybe it should have worked, like, and maybe this is overly complicated, but what do you think if they have to solve the puzzle during the 5 laps and then the partner sort of giving, so the idea would be is like they have the amount of time it takes their partner to go around 5 times to solve the puzzle. If the person returns before the person's finished, even if they have like 1 piece left, they have to go back up for 5 laps. So the partner has like a choice between, do they gun it to like try to finish as quickly as possible? Or do they like try to give their partner enough time? Are they assessing like how long they think their partner is going to take and try to game it that way? Because I did think it was like a little slow to have the laps go while the puzzle people were doing nothing. And then the lap people just sitting there screaming, helping with the puzzle while the puzzle people were going.
Yeah. I agree. Maybe there was something they could have done during the time break of like finishing or timing out the puzzle and then the laps. I don't know. I don't know if that's it, but I think there could have been a tweak there, but it didn't bother me as it was happening. I don't know. I was okay with it overall. That I wasn't like, oh, this is the bad part of it.
Yeah, I didn't love that like Ashley was able to help Theo. And I forget, somebody else helps with like the word puzzle. They like tell them the letters. Like, I don't hate it. I just my usual line is, and I'm sure this has changed time to time, so don't at me, I don't care. But my line is like, if somebody's like dedicated to doing it, like that was like part of the challenge is you had to like pick which partner went which puzzle, and someone with like shitty skills is going to derail the partnership. So like Ashley sitting in her car being like, the gray one is the top. Well, it was funny from the challenge perspective. I didn't love it.
Yeah, and that's totally fair. But there was also like, if you're shouting it out, theoretically you're helping out everyone. It wasn't like their own little blocked up corridors, so the help could have been to anyone. So I didn't bother it.
With the word puzzle, yes, but the block colors were different, at least when they like, some people had red on top. Now, maybe it's like they built it upside down and it was the same either way, but in any case, any other takeaways for the challenge for you?
I mean, Theo's just been unbelievable this season. Like, he's like my favorite person this season. He's just so bad at everything. Everything. It's really crazy how he hasn't, like, he can't do anything right. The only thing missing here was like Olivia clowning on him. Like, we didn't get a chance to see that again. And we just had Ashley just like going out of her mind watching Theo just like crap the bed at this puzzle, not knowing like what the top piece of a puzzle might look like, not understanding anything like that. That it was, I mean, he's I think my most entertaining person of the season so far with his just like buffoonery.
Yeah, it's interesting because Ashley, it's sort of vintage the challenge to have a partner berate the other partner. Usually back in the day, a male partner berating a female partner. It is like unusual, less common now to have a partner berate another partner. I know there was like Shane and Davon stuff on the last season of All Stars that didn't necessarily, some people were saying it was, I think, worse than what was shown, or maybe I was speculating it was worse than what was shown. Ashley is giving it to him vintage challenge style. Not that she doesn't have a right to be upset, but I actually did think like Ashley was like, whoa, this is like out of line. I'm feeling like a little uncomfortable with how hard she's going at him. Kudos to Theo for like really shaking it off and like congratulating Ashley when she's doing well and he's being terrible. The one thing I was really on Ashley's side about is like, why would Theo insist on doing that last puzzle?
Right.
because it would. I don't necessarily agree that the second puzzle is also going to be harder, but the fourth puzzle is, of course, going to be the hardest one.
Yeah, that made no sense. Ashley was definitely right about that. And yeah, Ashley going at him was just she could have been worse, honestly. Like at least she was just like not like getting. It was Ashley just being Ashley. So I didn't even think of it to like a second thought of the way she was going at him. But yeah, the Theo picking the fourth puzzle was not great. CT was funny comparing himself to Bowser. I was a little confused at the end. I the way they implied it, I think even if CT beat Leo in the victory lap, I think they still would have won because I thought like they implied like something like he did something first or I don't know because I feel like they didn't make enough about like Leo and Nani almost blowing this by being like the cousins or brothers like doing this early celebration before Leo had to get in the car and do the victory lap. I feel like that should have been a more like a focal point of like they celebrated too early and almost lost. But then TJ was like, "Oh, the only one who do all the puzzles, like Leo, like won." Maybe it wasn't as close as like that victory lap made it seem.
Yeah, you are right in that it made it seem like because some people, there were some cuts that made it seem like even if you finish the lap first, but you did not complete on two of the
Yeah,
puzzles, maybe that would have been akin to Naya being sent home and Lekka losing last week. Like that would destroy. I'm sure that was the case, and maybe it worked out that Leo finished the puzzle. That would have ruined the challenge to me. Like it had to have been built in. The penalty was built in, and I don't see why it would matter. Like you get a 5. You have 15 rounds you have to do. And if you still don't continue, like then you continue on. That's enough of a penalty. You have an
yeah,
advantage if you finish the puzzle. You save yourself 10 laps or whatever. Let's move on. And
yeah.
that's why the victory lap is brilliant because like CT who timed out finishes at the same amount of time as somebody who just showed up and got it in the first round.
Yeah, no, I agree with all that. It just felt very odd, just the editing. Like Nani wasn't
Yeah.
like, "Oh, come on, Leo, go, go, go! You have to beat him." Like she was just like celebrating the whole time and not like nervous. So it felt like, oh, they did win. But then CT was like trying to catch him. I don't know. That part I was just a little confused about. But
Yeah,
I'm
maybe
sure
because CT's was over the weight limit, I guess, of the go-kart and was
maybe.
going around super slow. They thought he just went. But I agree. There was some choppiness in the edit there. I do have to give it up to Leo. Like Olivia kind of goes into what we were talking about last week. Like, is Leo a mastermind or is Leo just lucky? Whatever the case, Leo being the only person of all of the veterans and all the newts who were on that puzzle finishing that, it's new to the week behavior, It's
It
definitely a
is.
contender.
Yeah, I mean, what was that like EJ Mass hierarchy or caricature person like
The idiot savant.
the idiot savant? Like maybe that's just Leo. He's the idiot savant of this season.
Yeah, maybe. But we do get the full results, and not just of the top 8, but all 13 finishes. And just in time, like, of course, we get it this week when we finally understand from our listeners, thanks to the listeners for pointing this out, that the votes are done in the order you finish the challenge. So
Which
it's
I
right there in
don't.
front of us.
But also, why wouldn't they make that a point? Why wouldn't they say like, all right, we're gonna vote obviously based off how you finish? Like that does matter because as they point out this week, sometimes you throw out 1 or 2 votes and like the snowball effect starts to go. I don't get why they wouldn't be like, all right, you won this daily or you finished second this daily, you get to start the voting. Unless they have said it and we just all missed it this whole time.
Yeah, it's funny because someone said TJ said it or something in an interview, and someone said they said it once on the show quickly. It's just so funny that the week we know about it, they give you the full order, and they even say, as you said, Olivia says to CT, "Well, like you guys will be voting first." So of course, the 1 week we know about it, it's everywhere in the episode.
Right.
But okay.
Exactly.
But Leo and Nani put up 8 points. Anissa and CT put up 7 points. I mean, for Anissa and CT to get default paired together, they got just about the best challenge they could have possibly gotten to perform well in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Other than just like have been on 20 seasons. That would have been a better challenge.
Yeah, other than one of those like put all the challenge flags in order of the history or something like that. But yeah, this was perfect for them. Obviously, I think like for CT, of all of his strengths puzzles is like right up there as number one also. So yeah, this worked out great for them, and they took advantage. Like sometimes dailies work to your advantage, and you gotta perform well, and they got a second place.
Derek C in America get 6 points. Will and Izzy get 5. Aviv and Gabe get 4. Michaela and Justin get 3. Derek K and Sydney get 2. John Nay and Cedric get 1. And then in last place are Tay and Jeremy, which the edit of the challenge is very Tay screws up her puzzles, Jeremy is smashing it. So Tay's probably disappointed to find out it's a Women's Day, but at least slightly relieved from like a guilt perspective because she really did seem to be the reason for the loss.
Yeah, and it's been very quiet for Jeremy now for a couple of weeks. Like this could have been something where they made more of a fuss about him, like almost like, oh, this is our chance to make Jeremy a hangnail and get him in, or something. Like there was not a conversation about that. Yeah, it's like after such a big focal point, after he won episode 0, everyone wants him, everyone wants to get him out or whatever. It's kind of just been floating up by, which I guess kudos for him for building social connections and bonds and like kind of playing the back a little bit, not being such a big focal point. Because now I'm sure when it comes around to like picking your partner, people like I would assume for the women, like he's probably like going to be one of the first people looked at to be picked. So he's in a pretty good spot now.
Totally. I think they're an interesting pair, Tay and Jeremy, because Jeremy is working with the Sydney D side of the house. That's sort of working now with the Aviv and Ashley vet women. And Tay is on the UK Olivia side of things. So Tay's people want to put in a person to keep Tay there. So they're not really focused on getting Jeremy out. Mm-hmm. And the opposite side of the house doesn't want to make Jeremy the hangnail. So it's like almost the people that would be going at him aren't because of Tay and vice versa. A good pair helps. Having a good person on the opposite side of the house helps.
And once again, and this now must be just an official thing now every week, is just the rookie bus and the vet bus. And I feel like we never see the vet bus. Like it's always the rookie bus. On the way back, the vet bus, they must be just like taking a nap or something like that. They got to rest bedtime early for them. But the rookie bus, they're strategizing right off the bat, strategizing with John A's name being tossed about and other conversations being had. But the rookie bus is where the conversations are happening.
Why John A? And not only why John A, but like, is this a good use of an attempt of social capital? This is why I think Leo and Justin's powers need to be harnessed for good strategic use. Like, perhaps because the rookies are actually in 2 factions, John A is like the only vet that none of them have ties to. Mm-hmm. But not to be like, what a waste, but you're not affecting any voting dynamic of the house by eliminating John A.
Yeah, and we're also like, we still haven't seen, going back to the point from last week, like where are some of the rookie men being like, well, I really kind of want to keep John A in the game. She's a multi-time winner. Like she'd be great in a final. I kind of want to have her as a partner. And maybe now they'll start thinking that way now that it's officially like coming up, you're going to be picking your partner and it's going to stick, and maybe that conversation will start to have. But even now, I would think some of the men would be like, well, I don't know, maybe should we just, I know Anissa's kind of like wishy-washy where she stands, but I don't want to run a final with her. Should we get out of Anissa? Like, I'm just surprised there hasn't been more of that as a talking point, I guess, because they didn't really know the format, and now I guess they do, and maybe now that conversation will start to have. But I thought with John A, like that's a perfect example of someone like, she's not really with anyone. We can add her to our group, and she's a great competitor for the men to be paired with. I was surprised how willing they were just to toss her aside.
Yeah, that's a good point. Also, like another reason I wish they knew what the points would do ahead of time or how important they'd really be. Because like now in retrospect, I'm kind of surprised that some people who had a strong partner of the opposite stripe early on didn't try to get them eliminated after they had already used them. Seeing how many weeks it took to have a repeat, like we have our first repeat today for week 8, and it's just one repeated team. Like, if you were with Olivia week 1, maybe get rid of her so that she can't earn points in the daily for other people and keep weaker partners for other people.
Totally. No, 100%. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, we get Justin with another sort of meaningless cheerleading pump up speech. But like that probably would be intoxicating if I were like in the house and going in to get that speech. It felt a little flat for me watching it because again, I'm like, they just don't have the right. They have the energy. They're excited. They are hungry, but they're just not directing it in like a really strategic way. So I'm kind of like, less on the speech and how you're going to devour all these bitches and like let's like get a good strategy going.
Yeah, and also like since this is like the A block week, there's not as much direct strategy like the winners have. Like the conversation of who you're going to save is so meaningless that it's just like I hate that it's even a part of this anymore. Like the fact that they still just can't just like make an adjustment and have like the people you save don't vote just to add some extra layer to it. But like that just is such a nothing power that you're even winning this week, like you get safety, but you don't really have power. Like that's the it's like not even immunity in Survivor because there it's like the vote could come back on you. It's like here it's just like yeah, you're just safe or whatever. So as much as like they win and they have power, they don't really have power for like the House vote. Like the House vote is still very much just like all the people coming together. It has nothing to do with who wins for the week.
Yeah, and frankly, again, if this was going to be a week where the save could have mattered, if Leo really only cares about no rookie on rookie crime and Nani's hooking up with Will, who's Izzy's partner,
right,
could have saved the team that's going in.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a whole pot of nothing. The who's saving who, and it's just a nothing burger.
One thing that absolutely cracked me up, and shout out to Ashley Millionaire Mitchell throwing her dollars around at the club. She goes to buy Leo and Nani around, and we get Leo's like, really? Reaction. And what a perfect like follow up to the night where Leo's trying to steal drinks and get free drinks from Derek. Brilliant.
Amazing. Yeah, great callback. And they should have they I guess they let people pick up on it, but it could have been a fun callback just to flashback to earlier in the season.
Yeah. So we get the beginning of like a lot of loose plans, like Olivia and Jake and Theo, or Jake is acting like Tay's gonna have any say, and I thought it was really funny to see Olivia being like, "Oh, honey, like no, no one's gonna care what Tay thinks. Welcome to the game, Jake."
Yeah.
But Olivia is throwing out Sydney and D as options. Yeah, again, like it's kind of an example that like Olivia definitely doesn't have like the social capital she thinks she has in the game. And really the power is starting to sit with the Nani, Aviv, Michaela, Ashley alliance linking up with Jeremy and the Janes.
Yeah, like who even is with Olivia? Like Olivia just has like Theo and some like ancillary Izzy, like maybe a couple of the UK people. Like it's very little. Like the threat of Olivia is much greater than like the actual sway of Olivia. Like Olivia's greatest threat is just her physical ability, like what she can do, as they talked about in a final with like apparently she's like in great cardio shape and like has great physical ability. Like that's more the threat, but like her house sway threat feels very minimal compared to what some other people have cooking with their friend groups.
Totally. And I think part of it is like the people she's with can't win challenges, right? CT, it was very sad later in the episode after we see like all the plans lay out. CT goes to Olivia and it's like, oh, is it still D or Sydney? And it's like, wow, CT couldn't be more out of the loop. Anissa now getting excluded from being in the loop. Theo can't win a challenge, out of the loop. Jake in Olivia's loop, but also kind of working with Leo and kind of starting to look at other options. Adrian and Tay kind of bottom performers. So even the numbers she does have, A, she's not sticking her neck out to protect, which we'll talk about in this upcoming vote. And B, like aren't really powerful allies that are useful in the game.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. The power does not lie at all with the Olivia crew. It lies very strongly with the women crew, which is why it's still weird that they're still against like they don't even need Anissa for a lot of these votes. Like I think now they're officially moving on and trying to find some other people to get on their side. So they've got the power.
One person whose stock is a little bit under the radar right now, but I would buy is America. Because with Lekka out of the game, America seems to have taken that spot with Sydney and D, and almost by virtue of just kind of Bidening, like from New Girl, like just being there. She and that's not to discredit her game. Like I think she's put herself in the right rooms in the right places and has suddenly become part of the Sydney D alliance that is integrating with those powerful veteran women.
Yeah, it was a very funny scene, like almost like a merging of like a crossover TV episode, like watching America D and Sydney go sit with Ashley, Aviv, um, and whoever the third one was, like or Nani, and like they're merging the powers. It's a summit of like all the great countries in the world, and here they are coming together, and then, like America is there, like leading it, like being part of the conversation, which is a great spot for her. You know, people protecting her. A lot of people even like, well, I don't want America to go in. So, she's got a good little army behind her.
Yep, and it's Sheena leaving Lisa's party on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and going home into Vanderpump Rules. Yeah, I mean, this choking. It was cool to see them start working together. CT does say, like, everyone's saying it's new threats versus vets, but really it's everyone's out for themselves. So I'm finally happy to see them like playing in the open outside of the bounds of these random lines. What do you think of Sydney's plan? So as I understood it, it's they went over very casually with the goal of floating Izzy, but we're kind of like, sure, Adrian, sure, Izzy, whatever you want, but like you vets campaign for Izzy, we will campaign for Janae, and then whoever ends up voted in, we're all happy with.
It's honestly a very creative idea because it allows each of them it allows them, if they really wanted to build this giant coalition, to kind of hide that they're building this coalition, because they're obviously not theoretically all voting together. They're also not turning against their own people. Like the vets theoretically would be voting for a rookie, the rookies would be voting for a vet, so they're keeping their promises to everyone. So, like, in theory, this is like a very smart idea. I don't know. They probably can't do something like this for many weeks, but if you're trying to buy time in like the mid portion of the game, it's like a fun idea. Where it loses me is like that's not how it plays out at all. And it's like a very confusing result. But the concept of like these two different factions coming together, being like, let's not really do a war by targeting each other. Let's just like do a war by targeting the floaters grab a life rest kind of thing, and just get them out, and then we'll just like battle it out once we get further down together. It's a good idea.
Yeah, I think to your point about how it didn't work out, we didn't get like what had to have been like a second level of conversation of
Definitely.
like, okay, this is actually now where the house is going. I think what's great about the Will push Janae, you push Izzy plan is it was an effective blindside of Izzy. She seemed very surprised. And while I didn't think the blindside of who Sydney and Leo nominated last week was necessary, I do think this blindside was a little more necessary because the vote of Izzy only succeeds because Theo and Olivia, close allies of Izzy, burn their votes. And those two votes could have, flipped the vote. Whether Olivia intentionally screwed Izzy or was just kind of so blindsided that she was in like survival mode with her vote, I don't know. But assuming it's a credit to the fact that the allied powers of Sydney and company and Aviv and company threw them off the scent, then like it was a very effective plan.
Yeah, no, I agree. There had to be some extra conversations we get to see with some of the votes, but the Olivia thing was a little odd, unless she almost was like protecting Cedric more than Izzy. Like they didn't want Cedric to be a hangnail even at the risk of Izzy going home, which
Cedric over Izzy,
which feels like a stretch. I know it feels like a stretch. I don't know, but yeah. Other than that, maybe she was just like caught off guard with the vote, or there was other conversations that we didn't really get to see play out.
Yeah, maybe. All right, so then we get the hookup of Nani and Will, and what's so interesting here is like they being MTV production, whatever, made such a meal out of this one hookup that I almost like felt bad for Nani. It's like this used to be like a huge part of the challenge, and I miss it. Like I'm happy to see hookups as part of the challenge, but to do the edit of like sexual imagery, like to make such a performance out of the audio from Nani and show every moment from their hookup, like they've yada yada hookups that have impacted the game before. Like they've yada yada cheating and talked about it on the reunion as shit they should have shown. Why now? Why this hookup?
Yeah, I mean, this easily could have been something that like we'll see. Maybe it does play into some voting, and like maybe now Nani and Will are like a power couple that's going to run the game. I don't know, but if this like fizzles out, it's just like a one-time thing. This could have been something that is like released out loud. Nani does a TikTok live in like 2 months. It's like, oh, actually, I hooked up with Will this season. I don't know why they didn't show that. Something like that. Like it probably could have been something. But look, it's fun. Yeah, they really played it out. Like they showed like every multiple round. Like there was a lot of stuff going on, and they just like showed it. They showed it all. It was weird. We didn't really get the Will side of it. Like they kept really focusing on the Nani confessionals. We didn't really get a lot of, and I feel like we didn't get enough of the Will confessionals of like his feelings about the whole thing.
I had enough of the Will confessionals. I'm happy to have seen this from Nani's perspective, mostly because at least in the clips we saw, she was like the initiator here. She was looking for the business. So good for Nani. Old Nani is back. She's having a good time. Here for a good time, not for a long time with Will. So love that for her.
Good for her.
But I did think like it was going to matter. I thought it was going to kind of come up with his partner being Izzy.
Right.
That like she was going to do something or be like a little hypnotized by the hookup. And I was happy for Nani that she didn't give one S about it and was like, I'm saving Ashley.
Right.
Good luck.
Mm-hmm. It's fun to see them working together, Nani and Ashley. Yeah. Good for
them. For the deliberation.
The only thing that was weird before that was there was a very interesting CT says about D. They're like, oh yeah. It seems like she's clocked out. We haven't really talked game. Meanwhile, like at the club, like she was like spearheading like multiple scenarios of votes and like leading many different conversations. So just because someone's not talking to UCT doesn't mean they're checked out of the game. D Survivor winner, definitely not checked out of midway point of the challenge here.
Yep. Yeah. And it is like maybe this will be a wake-up call to some of these vets like Anissa and CT that are like, oh, I'm out of the loop when I'm normally used to being in the loop.
Exactly.
But all right, let's talk about these votes. I guess I already buried the lead, or not buried the lead. I prematurely dug up the lead, presented the lead.
Yeah, so we get the votes. D and Turbo get 2 votes from CT and Issa and America and Derek. John A and Cedric get 3 votes.
Which, by the way, sorry, Turbo, of course, takes it as an attack on him because he's number 1 on the board, as though that's something Derek C is, who is a social player of this game, gives 1 S about. But okay.
Yeah. But sorry, got it. He had to get that line in. He had to do it. John A and Cedric got 3 votes. Izzy, Aviv, Adrian. Izzy and Will get the 4 votes. Michaela, Sydney, John A, D, and then the couple of the bird votes on Sydney and Derek and Anissa and CT.
I have a couple of questions. So that's another one, by the way. When D votes for Will and Izzy, we get a Will confessional that I could have lived without, where she's like, D can't keep my name out of her mouth. Yeah. We literally never hear you talking about you. Like, it's just so bad. It's so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But with Sydney and Derek K, so Sydney makes the vote and says, like, oh, D and I will never say each other's names. And Janae and I have an mutual understanding. So off the cuff, like, I haven't considered this before. I guess by default, I have to vote for the rookie Izzy. Why not just have Derek K deliver this message? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't understand why Sydney wanted to be in control of the vote, though I could see Derek K being like, I don't want to have, like, blood on my hands, but at least you could say, like, Derek's close with John, you know, Derek got 1 save, I got 1 save, it's D, so we have to vote for you.
Right, but then also, what is this so-called mutual understanding?
Like, yeah, why I say
like,
that?
Sydney was like leading the charge of like, or partially leading the charge of, all right, let's just have John A be the vet person we get out, and now all of a sudden there's like a mutual understanding. I would love the zoom backup of like their conversation of like finding this mutual understandings. I don't really get that unless she was trying to hide behind this some fake mutual understanding as a bridge just to vote for Izzy. But then this is where like the whole point of their conversation last night makes no sense. So if you were okay with voting out Izzy and doing it so publicly, then what was the point of like the meeting of the minds to toss out the fake vote for John A? Just build the camaraderie with the vet women, be like, yeah, let's just vote out Izzy. Let's do it together. So this is where it lost me. It's like, what was the whole point of that summit?
Yeah, I don't know if you're a rookie woman, you want the narrative being Ashley and Aviv telling people the votes are already decided. They're going towards Izzy, and these rookie women are with us. Because then it's like very Survivor. You give them opportunity to like make you the target, right? Or the rookies can get together and be pissed at you, and then they have Olivia and they have whatever. Like, I genuinely think when they went to, I don't know, I'm a defender of that move because I think they kind of still leave room for the veteran women to have their own agenda, kind of try to make it a little bit less like it's their definitive idea, float two names. And then I agree to the sense that I think there's a hole in them coming back and having a conversation about actually getting together a little bit closer to the time of the actual vote, in which case I think Sydney's smart enough to go to Janae and trade something for it of like, some people are saying your name. I'm not going to vote your name. Will you not say my name if I say your name?
Mm-hmm.
My only criticism of the move is why get in front of everyone and say you made an alliance with Janae. That to me is incriminating.
The whole thing just is confusing. Like if you can find you can explain away some parts of it, but the whole 12-hour arc for Sydney from like the night out to this vote, I don't get what she gained from going to that A to B fully. So that left me a little confused.
Yeah, fair enough. Then the burn votes, right? Because Olivia and Jake and Theo, Olivia and Jake, okay, votes for Sydney and Derek. I think even at that time, it's a 4-2-2 vote, and the vote is too close to introduce a new person, especially Olivia, when you said you were going to vote for CT, you told CT you were going to vote for D.
Right.
So you're screwing CT a little bit, and you're really screwing Izzy a lot, who has 4 votes on her. And then your boyfriend follows suit and asks in a comical way, Anissa, permission to burn on her. I was so frustrated that Izzy goes home without confronting how screwed she got by Olivia and Theo.
Yeah, I agree. I think she was more just caught up in the idea of going up against her friend, going up against Tay in the elimination, that maybe she just like didn't put the numbers and pieces together that like, wait, what the heck? Why didn't Olivia toss a couple extra votes my way? Like her and Theo could have saved me, or at least force a tie and then a coin flip type situation. Because I think she was just so caught up. Oh, I have to go against Tay, and then going mental gymnastics through all that. Yeah, I think she just kind of lost track of the numbers of like where this could have tracked for her.
Yeah. Well, we'll never.
I guess we'll never know.
Something I hope they get to the reunion, or we see Izzy respond to, or something. Before we get to the arena, the most relatable moment of the season is Leroy and Sydney discussing how difficult the format is to keep track of and account for. Mm-hmm. And more sympathetic I could not be, Leroy. Sometimes I too have to just look out the window and pray that I'm not going to say something crazy on this podcast and you guys aren't going to at me.
Yeah, it also was very funny of Nani having to like not give a crap about Izzy doing the woe was me, and she's like, "Look, I had to go against my girlfriend / fiance and cousin, so I don't want to hear about you having to go against your like buddy over here." So, wait till you go. Yeah, wait till
What's Nicole doing?
It's a great question.
All right, let's wrap. Now, at this point, I feel like there's not much to talk about as we get to the arena. But before, I thought some interesting stuff.
Yeah, there was more to chew on. I guess. But we get to the elimination. Pick it up again. Basically, as CJ was starting to describe it, I was like getting nervous about. I didn't know what the hell this challenge is going to be about. But it very simple once he started playing out. But basically, there is a giant plinko board. You have to put a ball through different hoop options. It'll go down the plinko board. As it's going down, you have to transport bricks to 5 different columns. You put 7 on each of them, balancing them on each of them, and you do it until you move all the bricks.
It's a little like, what do they call it? Samotion?
Yeah, a little Samotion. I mean, they've done different variations of this. I mean, it's like very similar to the infamous Jax challenge that put the challenge world in a tizzy from 40. So it was very similar to that in regards. But yeah, a very classic, very fun elimination here.
Yeah, I really like this. I also like that like you could choose to go to the easier hoop, but like for the last one you needed to go to the higher one to be able to have enough time. It also did give like a little bit of insight that like even when helping's allowed, sometimes it just doesn't matter because like the amount of people screaming that Izzy made her platform crooked and she just could not care.
No, I was screaming at the screen. You're playing. She couldn't hear me either. Like, fix the freaking post, fix it, and she just did not care. Until again it all came crumbling down. But I mean, just a great performance from Tay. Like, I mean, she took the lead early, never let up, didn't make any mistakes, did a great job, did a great win.
Yeah, it was a great performance from Tay. Not to take anything away, it was a pretty bad performance from Izzy.
It was.
Like, from a frantic perspective, like Izzy beat herself in a certain respect. And maybe, again, that's something to being blindsided. Like, you're not in the right mindset to go in. Whereas Tay, she was twerking it at the club. She was ready to go. She owned the loss and delivered. Kudos to Tay.
She did. Good for her. Izzy, not good for her. But she owned it also. She was like, yeah, I sucked at that. What can you do? But we'll see. Where does Izzy stand on your bring them back list?
She really hopes to come back, she said.
She does hope. I mean, good for her for hoping. We all want to have dreams in the world.
Honestly, I think she's probably the highest on the list of people who have gone. Do you disagree?
The highest?
Over Blue, Ben, Lecca. And
I think Lecca's higher.
I want Lecca more, but I don't know if, like, Jen Pop agrees with that estimation. Like, from a TV perspective, I think Izzy had more moments. She had more screen time.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, honestly, if I had to make a choice right now, I would say we would never see any of these people again.
I don't agree with that. I'd actually see all of them again, not on the same season, probably.
Want and Will, I think, like, there are some I would want to. I would love to see Blue back. I think she would be fun again. I just, gun to my head, if you had to say, like,
I thought you were like, I would be happy to never see it.
No. I want to see Lecca back. I want to see Blue back. I think Izzy could have some moments and be fun. But if I had to pick the option, my number one pick on the board would be zero.
Got it.
Coming back.
You can see my confusion. We were like, if I could pick, it would be that no one could back.
No. Yeah. We're doing a draft of likely options.
Yeah, I think I still think my order is Lecca's my number one. I want to return, but I think likelihood is probably like Izzy, Ben, Lecca, then Blue.
Mm-hmm.
All right, a couple of things on the picks. So as I said, we get our first return pick. The only other really interesting pick I thought was Leo picking Olivia, which is a terrible pick on a guaranteed guys' day with no risk of her being the hangnail.
Yeah.
Like, she should honestly throw the challenge. Like, I know she wants the points, but
like, was this a situation where she had no choice? Because, like, your first thing you have to do is pick opposite stripe. So, like, if that's his only choice, like, did he even make that pick, or was it just like, this is your last option?
Yeah, I don't know. He's been with Anissa, Michaela, Vive, Ashley, Jonna, Sydney, and Nani already, so maybe. Bummer. Bummer of a situation.
Yeah. How many more weeks do you think we have? So obviously, like, we have next one. Do you think we have one more AB cycle, and then we go locked, or are we 2 more AB cycles?
I mean, so next week's would close the loop.
Yeah, so next week will be a guys' day, and we'll get down to
it'd be 4 guys, and it would be
4
guys,
pairs?
4 women eliminated, 12 pairs.
We've got 12 pairs left.
Well, this week we had 13 pairs with no hangnail.
So we'll have 12. So we'll have 12 pairs after next week. Maybe we get down to 10. So maybe 2 more full cycles. Like a good.
Here's a question. I think that would make sense if we were just saying, like, what would make sense to have a few more weeks where they're competing as pairs before they go into the final. But, like, the fact that TJ tells us this week what the points mean, I almost think means it's coming sooner.
Yeah, I mean, it could come after.
I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy they gave them. If they gave them just like a few cycles to know that these points really matter, great. Mm-hmm. I just feel like that would be so unusual.
Yeah, I think the 2 things that will be interesting now that they know, like, this is not an individual game. This is not going to be a team game. This is going to be a partner game. I think two things that maybe will start to come up is what we've talked about is like, are some of the stronger people now going to be more protected because the opposite gender would want to keep them as a partner? And now that they know the top points people have the top pick, are some of those people going to be targeted? Like someone like Derek, who has a lot of points, isn't viewed as necessarily as a big competitor, even though for a final he probably should be. But like, is he all of a sudden now targeted because like, especially for like Turbo, is he gonna like if he wins next week gonna want to get Derek out because he's like second most points or something? So like, I wonder if that now is gonna be the conversation that's gonna come into play.
Also, if you're a vet, if you are a rookie woman, you kind of want a middle amount of points because I think you want to wait till all the vet men are exhausted and then you can match with a I guess mid-tier rookie man, because like it's not necessarily when TJ says it's still your opposite stripe, opposite gender, and presumably you'll be able to repeat because that would just be like
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it could be whoever. Yeah,
Not necessarily an advantage to have to pick between Theo, CT, Derek K. You know, like
yeah, or because I mean the odds of it being evened out are kind of slim. Like it's almost like if you're one of the lower points, you might get matched up with like if you're CT or something like that, you're might be matched up with a vet because maybe like no one picks you and like the numbers don't line up. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see when it gets down to when they're doing the picks, how many of each 4 cross sections they have, and maybe if they get to a certain point where it does match up, they're like, pull it, let's go, just like do it now, rather than risking things getting a little off kilter.
Yeah, right now there's been 1 new threat man who's been eliminated and 3 new threat women, and on the vet side 1 woman, 2 men. So a little lopsided.
Yeah, so there'll be some not cross striped pairs.
Who's the newt this week? Last week we put it to a vote in the Facebook group. I think the audience sided with you that it was Lekka.
Yeah,
I can't endorse that position, but that's what the listeners and Brian think.
People are saying I'm the voice of the people on the MTV side of it, so that's what they're saying. I don't know.
Okay, fine, that's fine.
For this week, so the leading contenders obviously Tay winning the elimination, Leo winning the daily, getting a lot of FaceTime, screen time. Will hooking up with Nani. Good job for him.
That's if Cedric was voting. He likes to see his friends eat.
Yeah, good for them. I think that would be it. I think those would be the 3, unless I'm not going to give a ceremonial one to Izzy on the way out the door for sure. I think those would be the 3 leading.
So you did to Lekka, but
yeah, well, Lekka earned it. I mean, Yeremy, oh my god, I can't believe I forgot that. Yeremy, of only in the sense of like this could have went really bad if his partner went home and he's the hang now. He's got a lot of people protecting him. It's more of just like noting how good of a shape he is in the game. Like if honestly I had to make a winner pick right now, at least I'm like, I guess whichever, so like Yeremy and whoever he ends up with, I think would be my winner pick right now. So, but they're not going to give it to him. But that's kind of just the idea.
Yeah, we already gave him the Revenant Newt a couple weeks ago for just like performance up till now. I think it's Leo because I think Leo was a top. Honestly, when I walked away from the podcast last week, I was like, honestly, it should have been Leo. From just like Newt just doesn't to me mean like you won the elimination or you performed well. Like I think it's an all around award. Who had the best week? I think Leo probably is overdue for it and certainly backed it up this week. So kudos to Leo, my Newt.
Yeah, no, I'm on board. I think that's the move. I was just tossing out the options, see if something stuck. But yeah, I think Leo's the move.
Very interesting to see next week. Possible Theo medevac, possible CT exposed party that he can climb now. A little bit of relationship news. Brad got engaged over the weekend. Congrats to Brad.
Good for Brad.
And
to a noob, like to a muggle, or
yeah, just a regular girl, I think named Megan, his girlfriend. And congrats, or not congrats. Sorry to, I don't know, whatever. People are confirming the report that Nerys and Horacio have broken up. I did request to follow. Nerys's tweets are private. I don't know if that's new or if they've been private. So I requested to follow her. Let's see if at this hour I have been accepted. Still protected. I'm still pending. So.
Okay. Well, congrats to the single men and women that want to hook up with Horacio and Nerys. So
okay, that's it.
Yeah. All right. That's episode 7. You can subscribe. We're at website.com/challenge feeds. Cohen Brian _ on Twitter. Follow you.
Don't follow me anywhere. Join us in the Facebook group, which is now
we're over 1,000.
Been over 1,000 listeners. Shout out to them. Also, like, too much attention now to the Facebook group. Like, meet us in the reviews. Leave us your thoughts. Leave us your reviews. Help us out. Julia Finn, shout out, our 1,000th group member.
Love to see it.
Unsuspecting, just joined. We hadn't really said anything. Although Brian had texted me like 997, and I was like, "What the hell is he talking about? Is that code? Like, what's going on?"
It's my birthday, September 97th.
I thought it was May.
We'll be back next week for episode 8. Till then, have a good one.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.